also brought together really over a desire, I think, just to work in general in and along the chemical value chain. Quite little is really known about the chemical industry, actually, even though it is accounting for pretty much nearly all manufactured goods, services worldwide. It's also an industry that has extremely complex supply chains, accounts for 2 billion tons of CO2 emissions every year. This is around 6% of all global emissions, and the curve is going up. Essentially what we are is an enabling and an accelerator platform to get crucial technologies that have a significant positive impact, but just cannot be, because of the nature of the early stage risk, cannot be supported really by just one company. Maybe we can take a step back, because SUEZ has transitioned from a waste management company into more of a resource manager. What does this actually mean? And then how does that connect really to global sustainability targets when we look at circularity and net zero?
Good morning, everybody. In the UK, just as an example, we were 95% landfill for all of municipal waste, stuff at home, in 1985, 1986. Now it's down to 5% in landfill. We got 44% recycling rate, we got 45% going for energy recovery, we got a little bit of organics. And that transformation is partly a recognition that landfill at the time was the right answer, but now we have better science. And energy recovery then became the right answer. Now we've got better science. And so it's this constant transformation of a business or an industry that's about two things in my mind. One is we protect the planet, the environment, and the people. And now recycling and reuse and repair and other transformational technologies are about putting materials to better use. And that's where we are now. I don't see myself as a waste manager, but I do see myself as a resource manager, because I handle complex material streams. I keep them separate, or I separate them in order that they can go back into complex manufacturing streams.
What does this look like in terms of your involvement specifically with the chemical players?
Big chemical company brings us up and says, we need a suite of polymers and we don't have access to them in the quality and content and continuity of feed from our supply chain, because we've got targets for more recycled content, more secondary resource use. How do we get access to those materials, Adam? We start to work out what interventions we could put in place to provide the quality material stream of a sector that's changing. And suddenly we're a supplier. Now we're at the front of those conversations, and that's because there's a much more collaborative, collegiate need and recognition out there, which is why I want to ask you a question, Charlie. Tell me about one or two of the projects you're working on.
One of the projects we're looking at now, we're running a physical pilot, so end-of-life vehicles. There are 5 million end-of-life vehicles in Europe alone. A car usually has 15 years plus minus of life. 20% of these plastics from the car are recycled, roughly, and only 1% of that 20% are basically closed loop in new cars. This is the sort of project that is just too big for any one company to basically bite off alone. Also with changing regulations in the EU around the percentage of plastics that basically have to be closed loop in new cars in the future, it means that the industry now needs to act. They need to change gear to do something that they haven't done before.
The remit of sustainability isn't going anywhere. We may need to just reframe it in terms of getting seats at top table.
Gentlemen, Charlie and Adam, thank you. It was absolutely brilliant discussion. There's themes that you picked up about